Hello, I'm Gino. Welcome to Dazzle TV. It's 5:50 a.m. here in Numancia, Aklan in the Philippines, and I'm gonna go on my morning walk. There's Bumblebee. Looks like it rained last night. It's wet, a little wet. Still early, so it's quiet in our neighborhood. Cool. Actually, it's been getting a lot cooler now. It doesn't feel like summer anymore. I guess because here in the Philippines, when September hits, they call it the Ber months, B-E-R, Ber months, and it starts getting cooler than normal. In the news in the Philippines, the dollar, the US dollar, is getting stronger here in the Philippines again. It's almost up to 57 pesos to $1 US. Only a month or two ago, it was only around 54. So that's normal here. It'll probably get as high as to 59 pesos before December, and then come December it's gonna go back down because December is when all the OFWs, the overseas Filipino workers, that's when they all come home in the Philippines, because December is it's a big month here. Everybody goes home to the Philippines and vacation for the whole month, and they bring all their dollars, so the dollar has a tendency to drop December and January. I always keep an eye on that because Dazzle and I, every year we save up as much dollars as we have, and about November we sell our dollars and then to pesos. That way we can get that high exchange rate and make a little bit of money. This morning I wanted to discuss been getting a lot of questions, and I've been seeing other YouTube videos how they're talking about how it's getting more expensive to retire here in the Philippines. My experience, I've been here retired now for 12 years, since 2011, and when I came here to the Philippines in 2011, the peso exchange rate was 39 pesos to $1 US. So to me, I don't really think it's gotten more expensive to retire here in the Philippines. I think it's still one of the cheaper countries if you choose to retire. I think it's still a good place to retire here. I'll give you an example. My apartment, when I moved to Calibo in 2012, it cost me 7,000 pesos for that apartment, for a 2-bedroom 1-bath apartment in Calibo. And so that's about $125 in 2012. That same apartment right now, and they've refurbished it, it looks a lot better than when I lived in it, is only 8,000 pesos now. So it's only increased about 1,000 pesos the last 11 years. So you can still rent that apartment that I had for $140 a month, and it's pretty much US standard. I mean, you'll have to put a air conditioned unit in the bedroom. There's hot water now in the bathroom. So, and that's the biggest expense you'll have if you move here to the Philippines, is housing. So I don't really think it's increased much. Of course, the grocery bills and things at the public market, they've gone up, just due to inflation. But I don't think it's the same inflation rate that you get in the United States, because I've talked to friends in the US and they tell me it's just a lot more expensive to live in the United States, especially if you're getting at that age to retire on Social Security. Like, I know a lot of people now are getting Social Security at 62. That's what I plan on doing. Is at 62 I'll start collecting Social Security. If the average Social Security that people get is about $1,500 a month, you can live well here in the Philippines with that money. I know in the United States, if you only had $1,500 a month, it'll be difficult to retire in the United States with that amount of money because of all the costs. The cost of living is a lot higher in the United States. So I think the Philippines is still a good option. The one thing here in the Philippines, though, is Medicare is not available here in the Philippines. So that's a consideration if you're getting up to that Medicare age. That's why a lot of people, they retire in Mexico, because it's closer to the United States. If you get sick, you can always easier to travel back to the United States than if you're here in the Philippines and the only insurance you have is Medicare. You'd have to fly back to the United States to get medical care. I think the reason why the Philippines remains top retirement destination for Americans specifically is the Philippines from 1898 to 1946 was an American territory. After the Spanish-American War of 1898, the Philippines was bought from Spain by the US for $20 million, along with Puerto Rico. So we were US territory till 1946. If not for the Filipinos, you know, and I couldn't blame them, because before the Americans, we were under Spanish rule for over 400 years, and then the Americans took over in 1898. There was just Filipinos at the time, they just wanted independence. You know, they didn't want to be ruled by another country. If not for our quest for independence, the Philippines right now would have still been a US territory, and all Filipinos would still be American citizens by now, if we had gotten our independence in 1946. But you could see here in the Philippines that everything is like the Americans established the system here. Like, we have a Congress, we call it Congress. We have a House of Representatives. We have a Senate. You know, it's the same system in the United States. Our public school system was built around the same concept as it is in the United States. So Filipinos have always had high regard for Americans. And to this day, most Filipinos, it's still their dream to just come to the United States or to see America. You know, Americans are looked highly upon here in the Philippines. It's hard to find a Filipino family that doesn't have like an American that married into them. You know, it's like, that's almost impossible. Almost every family knows an American. That's why, I think that's why a lot of Americans like coming here to the Philippines, because they feel very welcome. And just because of that, not just the Americans, but also Australians, Europeans. Like here in our province, they call every foreigner here Kano. Kano is like it's a slang for American or Americano, shortcut Kano. And here in our province, everybody just calls anybody that's a expat Kano. That's what they call them here. sunrise already. Another beautiful sunrise here in the Philippines. So that's why I think, you know, it's just Americans feel very welcome here. Foreigners feel very welcome here. And Filipinos, they like to be friends with foreigners here. They get to practice their English. They're proud of that when they can converse with foreigners in English. And of course, you know, a lot of expats come here to the Philippines to meet a Filipina. You know, that's just a fact. You know, it's like it's easy to meet a Filipina here. You know, it's like and Filipinas feel comfortable going out and dating expats, and that they've found that it's easier to date and go out with Filipinas than Western women. You know, nothing against Western women. You know, it's I'm all for independence and all that. Most expats that you'll talk to that's here that have Filipina girlfriends or Filipina wives, they just like how Filipinas are traditional. And that's why there's a lot of expats, a lot of foreigners come here to the Philippines. They want to meet Filipinas. They want to experience, because they see it on YouTube. You know, there's a lot of expats that are married to Filipinas. The Philippines will always be a top destination for people looking to retire, because you're just gonna feel welcome here. Filipinos are just like the friendliest people, the kindest people. You will enjoy meeting Filipino and having Filipino friends. And then also the cost of living, you know, it's like compared to a lot of countries, you know, Philippines is still up there as far as being affordable or reasonable. There are probably other countries that are cheaper to retire, but here in the Philippines, you know, pretty much anywhere you go, you can converse in English. You know, people can understand you. It's not like there's not a big language barrier. And just depends on what you prefer. If you prefer being around other expats, there's plenty of areas here that have a lot of expats, like Angeles City, Subic, Dumaguete. But there's also a lot of places here where you won't see any expats, or very rarely would you see expats. So it's just up to you, up to your preference. Just yesterday, I was chatting with a new subscriber. He messaged me on our WhatsApp that he was going to be here at the end of this month. He's going to be in Manila for 1 week, and then he's going to go to Cebu for another week, and then after that he was planning on going surfing and staying a while in Surigao Island. He's 46 years old. He's 100% VA disabled, so he's getting 100% disability, so he's got more than enough money to retire here in the Philippines. So this was going to be his first trip. He was going to check it out because he's heard so much about the Philippines. So I'm sure I'll be communicating with him. I told him just if he had any questions, needs any tips or advice, just let me know. And I do that with all the viewers that come here to the Philippines. If you're here and you have a question to ask, just send me a message and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Thank you for watching.
We'll see you in our next video.